far in the chapter we did discuss several facts related to forest, right? We just saw like almost 31% of the land is covered with forest. Forests are also known as green lungs, right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. While others are joining, you guys attempt some questions. Okay, now. Also, this thing I will be telling later on, like the total, how much percentage of India is covered with forest. Okay. So we have few questions over here. Let me. Hmm. So some questions you guys would be able to attempt right now. Okay. While some questions you guys will be able to attempt later on, since I haven't taught those questions right now. Okay. Yeah, Chakrika, you're also here. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. You?
I'm also good. Okay, so right now we are going to have a small test. Few questions are there. Start attempting them. You can answer them in the chat box. Hope it is visible there in the chat box. Hope you guys are able
Yes.
to find me. Okay. Question number 1. Question number 2.
The ID so
Question number
right?
question number 2. Leave that. How that ID. Leave the question number 2. Only question number 1 you have to do.
So I know the second answer.
You know it.
I
Okay.
know it.
Okay. You can answer it then. Okay, do let
So
me
I sent
know.
it.
Okay. Done.
Sir, I sent you
Hmm.
in the chat, sir. I've sent you in the chat.
I have seen that. Good. Okay, waiting for your answer, Vaika. Okay, I'm moving. Okay, now I'm moving the slide. Question number 2.
So I sent it.
Done. Okay, Vaika, Chakrika, you guys also done?
Yes, sir. I've sent you.
Okay. Is Vaika, are you there or not?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Okay. Question number 3.
So can you show the next question? I mean, the second question.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I've sent you the answer of this third question.
Okay.
Done, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not done. Just a second.
Okay. Take your time, no issue. Okay, by the way, I'm moving ahead. Okay, now.
So can I send the first one's answer one more time?
You can send it again.
Okay, sir.
Also, all of you are required to send it not to everyone, but to me only. Okay, now don't send it to everyone mistakenly. Okay. Now it is correct, Vaiga. Good. Okay, I'm moving ahead. By the way, guys, everyone done or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
done.
Okay, Sundus, are you so sure about this
I
one? Question
sent
number
it.
3. Okay,
Uh,
this one I haven't told. What is the Latin name for the forest? Okay, so you can skip this one. These ones also we'll be discussing later on. Okay.
so I know
House.
the last
Okay,
Yes, sir.
answer.
leave, okay, leave it for now. We will be discussing that. Okay, na?
Okay.
So I can see all of you have answered correct. Okay, now see which of the following a few questions, few answers are wrong here. So let me just discuss the questions. Which of the following increases carbon dioxide? Obviously, deforestation.
Deforestation.
Okay, no. Okay, Sundar. Forests are known as
Yes, sir.
green lungs, and the
Green lung.
branchy element of a tree above the stem is known as crown.
Ground.
Actually, right now. So
Yes,
basically,
sir.
see that is the crown. Basically, getting it now. And the canopy is what? Canopy is a kind of a roof-like structure. We know that in the forest, all the trees are growing together, right? And their branches appear as a floor. It appears as floor. It appears as roof of the forest, right now. Okay, so good. So let's resume. Hmm. So talking about the forest, the term forest is derived from the Latin word foris, Foris. That is the Latin word for this. Let me write it over here. Latin word forest. Okay. So everyone do remember this fact
That
that the
is O or A.
yes,
That is O or A.
that is O. That is O. Okay now. Now the important points we did talked about the forest. Let me just give a brief of what are the things we did discuss so far in the class. Okay. So we did talked about forest. That forest is what? It's a sizable area of land that is densely vegetated with trees, bushes, shrubs, herbs, and some other
Yes, sir.
plants as well. Okay. There are different varieties of there are different species of animals living in a forest right now. There are different species of microorganisms living in a forest as well. Not just plants and animals are there, but there's a whole wide range of species of microorganisms also living there, right? All right, now then we did saw like all of the elements in the forest will be interconnected. Huh? Survival of every element in the forest is dependent on each other.
So
Okay.
basically, food chain.
Yes.
Are we talking about the food chain?
Am I talking about the?
Food chain.
Will you please spell that?
So food chain. FOODCHAIN. Food chain.
No. In food chain. We'll be talking about that. There also we get to see like all of the elements are basically interrelated. That's the thing which we see in the forest as well. Okay, now so you see, for example, if you were to look at the cascata plant, you all must have heard of it. In fact, I did told you about
Yes, sir.
cascata plant. So the survival of a cascata plant is dependent upon another plant. Okay, now on the host plant, right? Okay, and talking about a forest. In a forest, there are two type of components on the basis of living or non-living. Basically, there are abiotic component in a forest, and there are biotic component also. Right now, so both biotic and abiotic components are influencing each other. Right, plants or animals they are taking. Plants are dependent on the abiotic factors, abiotic components of the forest to stay alive. Getting it now. Similarly, abiotic component of the forest, for example, the soil, serves as a habitat for different type of species of worms, of several insects, for the snakes, for rabbits, etc. Right now, also we did saw like we know that forest will be help. They help in preventing soil erosion. Yes. So the
Yes, sir.
older trees, their roots are widespread in the soil right now, and the tiny root hairs present in the soil, they will be holding up to large masses of soil particles. Right now, they will hold on to large mass of soil particles. So thereby, they are holding on to the soil, and they are thereby preventing soil erosion as well. If there's a flood, that land will not be eroded. The soil there will not be eroded. So forests are aiding in preventing soil erosion as well. Yeah.
So helps in preventing soil erosion is about like it's in the forest. It's in the part of what forest is, right?
It's a basic inclusive thing here that we normally define what forest is, right? But then
Yes, sir.
when we define the significance of the forest, the different components of the forest, what is the significance of forest, how the different elements in a forest are interconnected to each other, how the survival of one species is dependent on another. So everything will be discussed in the forest as well. Okay, now. So first, whenever the question about forest is asked, first you have to give this definition, like what forest is. Then, if the question asks you, if someone asks you to elaborate about forest, elaborate about the peculiar nature of the forest, what are the significance of forest, then we can add on some more points. Okay, now. Also, forest can regenerate on its own. We don't need to go and provide manure to the forest, provide fertilizers to the forest, provide water to the forest. It regenerates on its own, and it's constantly growing, and it's constantly changing as well. As the climate is changing, the forest is also changing, right? So I did told you like the abiotic component, like the soil, water, and the air, and the living beings, that is the biotic component. They will be interacting with each other in the forest, right? Here, interaction, basically, what do I mean when I say interaction? Interaction is a relation between two things where either both of them is getting benefited equally, or either one component is getting benefited more and another one is getting benefited lesser, getting benefited less. Yeah. So when a plant is in the soil, there's an interaction between the plant and soil as well. What type of interaction is there? The plants are getting minerals, waters that are dissolved in the soil. Getting it now? And the plant is anchored in the soil, right? Now there's a relation between the communities, between the tribal communities that is living in a forest. There's a relation between them also, between the forest and the tribal communities found to be living in that forest. There have been several movements led by the tribal communities in order to protect their forest. You must have heard about Chipko Andolan. Have anyone heard of it? Yes.
What's it?
Have anyone heard of this Andolan? Chipko movement. I think you must have heard of it.
Yes, sir, I did.
Why it's not working?
So like the tribal people hug the trees to prevent the people from the city to prevent like they prevent them from cutting the trees
Exactly.
by
Exactly.
hugging them.
Exactly. So basically, there's a close association between the tribal communities and the forest as well, because they are getting all their essential stuff from the forest, whether it be their clothes, right now, whether it be their daily use stuffs, whether it be food, all of these things they are getting from the forest. So thereby, there's a relation between the tribal communities and the forest as well. Okay, no, and then we get to see that climate is impacting the forest and forest is impacting the climate also. Understanding what I'm trying to say, I'm saying climate is impacting the forest and the forest is impacting the climate. Who got this, what I'm trying to say? Yes.
The word and
I'm
So can
saying
you
again.
repeat
I'm
again?
yeah, I'm saying that the climate, the different elements of the climate, like the water cycle, air. huh? So the climate is impacting the forest. Okay, no? While the forest is impacting the climate as well. Let me elaborate. For example, consider a rainy season. Consider a monsoon climate. Yeah? So if there's more rain, the forest will grow, it will become denser and denser. So here the climate is impacting the forest. And vice versa, if there is more dense plants in the forest, so thereby in the summer season there will be more vegetation now, right? More vegetation means more evaporation. In the summer
Yes, sir.
season there will be more evaporation. So more evaporation means that more water vapor will be going up in the air, and then they will be condensing to form clouds. So hence there will be more rainfall. More rainfall means rainfall basically here will lead to monsoon climate now. So both of them are interdependent
So,
now. Yeah,
so basically they're helping each other, right? How is it like
exactly.
impact?
Just the later part of the question. What did you say?
Like, it's basically helping each other, right? Not like impact. It's not like an impact, right?
Impacting. I would say it's impacting each other. Okay, in a sense that it is kind of beneficial for other species,
So
right,
like
and for them as well.
impacting in sense is like
Hmm.
a cause, right?
Impacting in a good way. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
Impacting in a good way. Thereby, the forest, the elements of the forest are getting benefited. We humans are getting benefited. Okay, na? The
Yes, sir.
abiotic component of the nature, it doesn't have any sense. So we can't say that that abiotic component is also getting benefited. It's we, the living components, that are actually really benefiting from it, right? So uh, there are so many importance of the forest. Right now, we did saw like the forests are home of numerous type of species. Okay, now. Hmm. So we did talked about these things also. Okay, let's quickly revise these thing. This what we discussed about the stratification in forest in the previous class. Then we will continue with some other concepts. Remember, I did told you like in different layers of forest, different animals are found to be living. Yeah, like
Yes.
for
Yes, sir.
example, this harpy eagle. This eagle won't be making its nest in this shrub layer or in the understory or in the canopy right now, because thereby it will be in danger, it will be exposed to prey, it will be exposed to predators right now. While a woolly opossum, that will be making its nest or home in the understory level as only right now. So that is the thing, like how uh, how it reduces the competition. Also the competition is reduced here now. What if this this toucan or this harpy eagle or this Brazilian tapir or this woolly opossum, all of them were to make their habitat in the same layer, there will be competition between them right now. And also, what if all the trees were to be of equal length? So thereby the trees will not be getting equal amount of sunlight, equal amount of nutrition. Getting it now? So that
Yes,
is
sir.
the thing. Just like how you are sowing seeds at different at distances from each other and at equal depth. You know, in the process of sowing the seeds, when you sow the seed in the ground, you need to ensure that you sow seeds at equal distance from each other, so that when plants will come out of them, now they will be having sufficient spaces to expand into. Okay, now. So that is the thing. So we did talked about the first of all, there was forest floor also. Add this one more over here. Forest floor. Okay, yeah, Sandus, do tell us something about the forest floor. What is it made up of? Yeah, starting from Sundus.
So
I guess
what's the
I'm.
question?
Her question is, what do we mean by the forest floor? What is it made up of?
So you
Yes,
are
Sundus.
asking me.
Yes, Sundus. I'm asking this question to you.
Fine, sir. So what was the question?
Question is that
Mm.
what do you mean by forest floor? What is it made up of? Yes,
It is made up of plant.
made up of floor. What does it mean? Like the floor in your house. What is it made up of basically? Huh? In the same manner, like if you were to talk about forest floor, so what does it comprises of?
Grasses.
Yes,
Grasses. The grasses.
grasses are there, but talking about the floor only. In the floor, you have topsoil, top layer of the soil. You have some fallen leaves. You have some shedded
So
barks of the tree.
decomposed things.
Exactly, decomposing things. Getting it now. So this is what the
Yes.
forest layer will be comprising of.
We can also include herbs, right? Herbs.
Herbs and the shrubs, that those will be included in undergrowth. No, not
Sir, but
in the
last class you
later
said
layers.
the herbs will be included in the first floor, and like the shrubs will be included in the understory layer.
See, there's one more stratification over here. See, first one is the first floor over here, the forest floor. Now, when you look at this undergrowth comprises of two layers. First one is the herb, and the second one is the shrubs. Okay, now, so it's like this. See, so you have this first layer. Okay, you have this second layer, which is made up of the herb, the shrub, and the second layer is actually the undergrowth. Then this is the third, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth layer. So it's like that. Okay, now undergrowth basically means having a growth less than of 5 meter. The length of the stem is lesser than 5 meter. So there you will be counting the herb layer and the shrub layer together. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so we did saw in the forest floor there will be topsoil, there will be shedded leaves of the tree, there will be decomposing substances, there will be decomposing stems, barks, okay, etc. In the herb layer, basically you will be having grasses, right? Now grasses will be growing there, or other type of herbs. So it will be consisting of those plants that are not woody in nature. And also we know that herbs are not woody. Okay. And shrubs are also not woody, right? Now, so in the undergrowth, the second layer you will be having will be the shrub layer. And it will consist of plants that are having height of a small to medium. Okay, the size will range from small to medium. And these layer, that is the undergrowth, both the herbs and the shrubs, they require sunlight to grow. They require most sunlight is required by them. All right now. Okay. Then talking about the understory, it consists of plants that are growing above the forest floor, above the undergrowth, but they are growing lower than the canopy, and they will be requiring lesser amount of light in order to grow. Right? As you can see that they are basically being covered by the canopy. So much of
Okay,
the
sir.
sunlight does not reaches the understory. Right now. So thereby are able to grow even with lesser amount of sunlight reaching them. Then I did show you an
Okay, sir.
image where we saw how an emergent layer looks like basically. Yeah. So emergent layer, look at the name. Huh? So they will be consisting of topmost layer of trees. Some of the trees have emerged out of the canopy. It appears as if these trees have made its way through this canopy. Yeah, Vaika, Sandus and Chakrika. Okay, now. So that is the thing about the emergent layer. Okay. All right. Now moving on, we know that forest, as moments ago we were discussing, it will be a habitat of different type of animals. Different type of animals will be living, right? Also, why forest is a home to a wide variety of animals, because it meets the environmental conditions required for different variety of animals to survive. Yeah. So forest provides a favorable condition. Okay, no? It will be providing with sufficient amount of food. It will be providing with abundant amount of shelter to a wide variety of wild animals. Apart from animals, there will be insects also. There will be microorganisms also. Yeah. So forest is a habitat of different kind of animals. Okay. Then we will be talking about this food chain as well. Okay, where we would understand how different um, components of the food chain are interdependent on each other. I think you all must have been studying this since I think class 1 or 2. It's a very basic thing. So forest is in at a given period of time in a forest you will see different type of food chains will be existing. Yeah, food chains are also of different types. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So for example, for a human the food chain is different. For an eagle the food chain is different, right? Now, or for a lion the food chain will be different, but all of them are obtaining their nutrition from the primary source, that is the producer, that is the green plant. Yeah. So forest will be supporting different food chains. Why? Because the biodiversity in the forest is very complex. Biodiversity, what do you mean by this term? Biodiversity. Yeah. On earth we get to see there's a biodiversity. Bio refers to life, diversity refers to varieties.
Correct.
Yeah. So in a forest we get to see that in that forest you will be having animals of different varieties, plants of different varieties, funguses, microorganisms, viruses. All of them are of different varieties. So hence forest will be having a rich biodiversity. All right, no? Okay, now. So forest will be having a very rich biodiversity. So thereby, since there's a rich biodiversity in it, it will be supporting different type of food chains. Hope you guys are understanding this thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So right now we are talking about how forest serves as a habitat to different kind of animals. So forest serves as a habitat for different species of animals, not just animals. We would be counting it as plants, insects, and microorganisms. Okay, Vaiga, can you explain this diagram given here? Yes. You have producer, you have primary consumer, you have secondary consumer. Yeah. Who would like to explain this diagram? Yes, anyone?
So he said Vaiga's explaining, right?
How? Like, Vaiga, you haven't answered. That's why I'm calling others. Yeah, Vaiga?
Sir, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? It's a simple thing. All
Sir,
of you must have a. Yes, on this. Go on.
like Like a cockroach is being eaten by the mouse, and then the mouse is eaten by the snake, and the
Mhm.
snake is eaten by the bird, and then the bird will die, and it will decompose.
Right. Okay, now. And then what is happening? Yes. Nutrients are being.
I
So as it decomposes, the decomposers act as like nutrients for the soil and like for the plant,
Mhm.
which which helps to grow the plants. So the food chain can continue again.
Okay, look here. So you guys have touched some of the points here. See, first of all, if you get to see that in this food chain, what is happening? The primary producer on Earth, that is the green plants, all green plants, right? There are some exceptions as well, but we won't be counting majority of the green plants. They would be getting nutrition from sun. So the ultimate source of energy is sun actually. Yeah. So the plants are preparing their food in the process of photosynthesis, obtaining energy from the ultimate source of energy, that is sun, and thereby they will be eaten by uh, either a herbivore and might be eaten by a omnivore also. But in this diagram, it's a herbivore first. So herbivore becomes the primary consumer. Primary means first. Yeah. So that is the first consumer. Okay, that is a herbivore, and then herbivore might be eaten by an omnivore. Omnivore that can eat animal flesh and the plant products as well. So that becomes the secondary consumer. Then later on, it is eaten by the snake over here, right?
Sir,
Yep.
sir, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
So what about the microorganisms? Is there any animal that consumes microorganisms? And the microorganisms are consuming like any green substance, like plant basically.
They are, for example, see, you might have seen, like, if you happen to visit a village sometime, you would see that many a times now the wheat crop catches the wheat rust disease. That's a fungal disease. Okay, now that's a fungal disease. That is wheat rust. So funguses, you guys know, fungus is a kind of microorganisms. So fungus are also eating the plants. So thereby they also become the primary consumer, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you see there are viruses. Viruses can feed on animal cell, it can feed on bacterial cell, and it can feed on plant cell as well. You know that viruses are the smallest microorganisms which we have. They are smaller than the uh, bacteria as well. You guys know now, like the viruses are smaller than the bacteria, so they can live inside the body of the bacteria also, and they can eat up some bacteria also. Okay, now you see. So now then again, the virus becomes the secondary consumer. All right, but talking about bacteria. So talking about bacteria, I don't know of any particular animal that feeds on bacteria, because how you would be feeding on bacteria, how an animal would be feeding on bacteria he if the animal can't see it. There could be some food laden up with so many bacterias. For example, if you were to look at the curd, this CURD curd, everyone knows about this curd, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the I don't know what you guys call it locally, but it's called dahi, where in northern part of India. Yeah. So see,
yes, sir.
in this curd, basically there's a bacteria called as lactobacillus. Huh? So when milk turns into curd, thereby lactobacillus grows into it. So thereby, yeah, we are consuming that curd, and that consists of lactobacillus. So Chakrika, we cannot take it. I think that example can be taken here. Obviously, we can take that example. Okay, now. So yeah, are actually consuming a bacteria. Also, you know that there are several
Oh,
medicines that are made from bacteria. For example, streptomycin, erythromycin. These are medicines made up of from microorganisms, right now.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah, we consume microorganisms as well sometimes. Okay. So back to this food chain, here we are seeing that from this ultimate source of energy, plants are preparing their food. That will be taken up by this primary consumer, and then this rat that becomes the secondary consumer, and then this carnivore animal that is the tertiary consumer, right? Okay, now, and then again by this another carnivore, this will be taken up, right? Why this is also called as tertiary consumer? Because at this level, there could be some animal that could be eating up this omnivore animal as well. Now, what happens when all these different consumers dies? They will be decomposed, right now. So there are some decomposers in the food chain. So what are decomposers? They will be feeding on the dead and decaying plants and animals, and thereby they will be converting them into a humus, humus. So initially, what happened? The from the soil now, from the soil and from the environment, nutrients were being taken up by the plants, right now, and then thereby it transferred at different levels in the food chain. But finally, when all these components in the food chain, including the plant itself, dies, so they are decomposed, right now they are feeded by some certain type of bacteria, it could be funguses as well, and then thereby what happens now, all of them will be converted into humus. I hope everyone has heard of humus. It is a dark colored substance that is found in the soil,
Yes,
that
sir.
is formed.
Did
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, and it is made from dead and decaying organisms, right? Okay, now. So thereby basically what we are seeing now, it basically returns to the soil. All the nutrients in the form of humus, it returns to soil now. Huh? So can we also say that in the food chain there is a cycle of nutrients also? Yeah,
Yes,
can't we
sir.
say that, right now? Take examples of
Yes.
humans as well. Take
So,
examples. Yeah.
sir, I have a doubt. Like, it's not. It's a question basically.
Yeah.
If all the animals go extinct,
Mm-hmm.
like they'll be decomposed, right? So from the decomposed substance, the plants can like grow, right? Uh, they can grow well and fine,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Exactly. Exactly.
so
Yeah.
like,
Continue.
so like the new organisms can also be born again, right?
Okay. Look,
Can't they?
that's a very debatable question. Okay, now that's a very debatable question. But yeah, if Earth were to be left inhabited, uninhabited, if there were to be no humans on Earth, so yeah, what would happen? Certain things would start to reverse. You might have seen, like during the pandemic time, what happened? Several rivers became so clean. Yeah. For example, from Uttarakhand, certain peaks in the Himalayas were visible. You guys all know about Uttarakhand, that's a state in India.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So from there at that time, no, the peaks from the Himalayas were visible. See, the question I'm saying here, what would happen? Basically, Chakrika's question is, what would happen if there were to be no humans? Yeah. See, first of all, what I think, what would
The
happen if
air
there were
will
to
be
be,
clean.
yes,
The air will be clean.
obviously air will be clean. Getting it
Sir,
done.
what I was like, um, if all the animals, okay, basically, yeah, humans also include as animals. So, like, if all of them were to go extinct, they'll all be decomposed anyhow, right?
Exactly, they will be decomposed, but at that time there will be several other factors playing. Several other factors are all has to be taken here. For example, what about all the dams that are built by the humans? Huh? That will basically break away now. Yes. So
Yes,
there
sir.
will be flood everywhere. Understanding this thing. So there
Yes,
might
sir.
be that the forest might be disrupted that due to that as well, right? Also, if you were to see, we can't say for sure that there will be greenery everywhere. Okay, now because anything could happen, but the obvious thing is that what we can speculate, what there's a probability that we can see that yeah, Earth would not like kind of start to um, go back to normal. The air quality might increase, it might improve, the water quality will improve. Getting it now?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's the kind of thing that could happen. Okay, and saying that new forms of life could re-emerge.
Again, yes,
uh,
sir.
so that's a debatable question. Several aspects have to be considered while such discussions. Okay, now.
So,
So like, so one more aspect has to be understood here. Like, nature is not actually dependent upon humans. Nature is not dependent upon humans beings to exist. Contrary to that, humans beings are dependent on the nature. Right? We are completely dependent upon nature, while nature is not dependent upon. So the nature will still exist. Right now, nature will still exist. So back to question, we were saying that we were discussing about
yes,
this
sir.
food chain. Yes, yes, Chukrika.
So, but it is said that the humans were developed from animals, right? Basically, evolution.
Look, evolution theory now. That's a debatable topic. That's a very debatable topic. It's still a theory. It still is a theory.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now. So you see, when we talk about evolution of humans, there are certain contradiction to that theory as well. For example, some people would say like there are certain species of apes why they haven't converted to humans yet. So there's a different thing to that as well. Okay, now. And also if we were to say like all life forms, basically the life form started from the cyanobacteria there. It has started to release oxygen in the atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
Right. Right now, this story started from there. But then there are several contradictions, like why certain species of organisms develop into plants, why not the plants evolve into some other forms of organisms, right? So a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of concepts has to be considered while we discuss that. Okay, now. Okay, talking about this thing, we did saw like forests will be supporting different type of food chains because there's a rich biodiversity in the forest and different organisms present on the earth. All of them are dependent on each other. For
Yes, sir.
example, this herbivorous is dependent upon the green plants, right? Carnivores are dependent upon both the omnivores and the herbivores. So if their survival are dependent on each other. Now one might ask, like, how my survival is dependent on this snake. This rat would ask, how my survival is dependent on this. Yeah, it might ask. So the thing is here is that we have to have a wide perspective here, and we see that this carnivore animal will also die somewhere, sometime, and then when it will decompose, so the nutrients locked inside the body of this carnivore will return back to the soil, and hence the it will be taken up by the plant. So another rat might eat the this cockroach, but not this rat, but another. The survival of another rats would be indirectly depending upon this. Getting at what I'm trying to say?
Basically, it's species.
Basically, species. Okay, now. So we have to have a wide perspective when we understand this thing. Okay. So basically, we saw that this chain of different organisms are dependent on each other for their food, for their survival. So hope that is clear to everyone. So will you guys be able to explain it yourself, or shall I provide you with the definition? Let me write few points.
Uh,
See, forest supports a wide variety of food chains because of its rich biodiversity. Okay. Different organisms are dependent on each other for their food. All right now. So that's the thing over here. Any questions in this one, or shall we move ahead then? Two more things you should note over here, that the important role played by decomposer and humans over here. Okay, what are some examples of decomposers? By the way, what are examples of decomposers?
So what?
The
What are some
examples, like the meaning, like the definition or something.
definition, and you can quote some examples as well.
Sir, I know like definition.
Okay, you can give the definition.
Sir, decomposer is basically any organic matter that can dissolve into the soil and which helps in like basically in the food chain. How is it helping right now? Not only in the food chain, but also in like many other ways.
Okay, Ashaf, do tell me one thing. Are the decomposers living or non-living?
Living.
So like,
Living.
yes, the living.
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 So the most common ones are bacteria and the fungus.
And
Fungus.
fungi.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Sir, fungus, worms.
worms. Exactly. So these are the
Yes, sir. So
decomposers.
basically any organic matter or like natural substance or
We
something.
have to consider alive matter here. Okay, now organic matter. When we say organic matter, it's an umbrella term. So it will include even the dead living organism will also be counted in organic matter. Okay, now. So when we talk about this, we have examples of fungi, you have bacteria, you have examples of like protistas also there, insects, as
And
Micah said, mushroom. That is an example of fungus actually. Mushroom, that is an example of fungi. Okay, now. So apart from fungi, what other examples I gave you? Like you have bacteria, you have
Sir,
yeah.
molds.
Mold is
Molds.
also a type of fungi actually. Okay, now.
Oh,
You have
okay.
we have no different examples of fungi. Like you have example of bread mold, you have examples of penicillium, you have examples of aspergillus. Okay, now all these are examples of fungi actually. Okay, now all of them will be counted in the same thing. Okay, protista is also there, bacteria is also there, insect and the worms, all of them are the decomposers. So they will be converting the dead and decaying plant and animal material into this thing, right? Okay, any questions so far? Are there any questions?
Look at the previous slide once.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Continue. Okay. Now we are going to have a look at different type of products that we obtain from the forest. So in the image you can see we obtain timber. Right now this is timber. Timber, that is basically referred to wood, right? We obtain, what does this image shows? We obtain latex from the forest, that is made used for making rubber. Okay, we obtain honey from the forest, we obtain berries, we obtain wood, this wood, same thing. We obtain aromatic flowers, and we obtain several type of spices also. We obtain several type of spices also. So these are the products. Apart from that, also you can count several other materials are also obtained. Getting it
Like
now?
bamboo.
Bamboo, very good. We can count the coffee also, right?
So we did
We'll
a paper also, rubber.
exactly, we would be processing the wood, and then later on we would be converting that into paper, right now. So we would also be taking out so many. We would be also obtaining herbal medicines from the forest, right now. Vaiga, Sandus, and Chagrika.
Yes, sir.
So we obtain
So what about rubber?
Mhm. Exactly from this latex. Now it will be further processed to obtain a rubber.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now, rubber, herbal medicines are obtained from it. You know, uh, just yesterday I read a very interesting news. You know, here in Odisha is a district in India. There's a
Yes,
tribal
sir.
community. There's a tribal community living in Odisha. What
Sir,
they would
isn't
do
it a
now?
state?
Yes,
Sir,
it's
isn't it a
is
state?
okay. Did I say it something else?
So he said district.
Oh, sorry. It's a state actually. No, it's a state. Yeah. See, here in Odisha district now, there's a tribal community living there. What they used to do now, they would take red ants. Okay, they would be taking red ants, and they would be taking eggs of the red ants also that are white in color. Okay, and they would be taking some spices, and they would make a sauce out of it, and they would be consuming that. Getting it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that thing is also they are getting from the forest, and they are actually consuming it because their reasoning is that it consists of so many different type of nutrients, like it consists of calcium, iron, like that. Okay, so anyways, so apart from that we would be obtaining um, kind of like we did talked about honey. We'd be obtaining palm oil also. So just to mention few, these are some of the products we are getting from the forest, right? We are also obtaining so many
Like,
precious wood.
like yeah, that cure malaria. Like quinine.
Which one?
Quinine, sir. It cures malaria.
It
The
cures
medicine.
malaria. Okay, will you please spell it?
Quinine.
Quunine. Okay, I'm not exactly sure about it. So
So
apart
after
from this, Mhm.
I
Yeah,
Oh,
after
yeah, sir. It's like used to treat malaria.
it's used to treat malaria.
yes,
Yeah.
sir, that one.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, apart from these products, do you guys remember any other products which we can obtain from the forest? Yes, there are so many precious stones. Some people are fond of connecting stones. Yeah, okay, let me assign. Okay, Chakrika, you mentioned some other resources we obtain from the forest.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So what about medicine? Like
We did talk about that
iron?
herbal medicine.
Yes, sir. So what
Yes.
about
Uh-huh.
this? So like what about sandalwood?
Sandalwood, very good, very good. We obtain that as well from the forest. Okay,
Sir,
now.
also there's this other one. But like We call it, I forgot what we call it in English. Just a second, sir.
Okay, while you recall it, by the way, sandalwood, you can find it in different states of India, like particularly in Kerala, you can find it.
Yes, sir.
Right, in Tamil Nadu,
In
you
Tamil
can
Nadu
find it.
border. Kerala
In
and Tamil
Karnataka,
Nadu border.
exactly. In Karnataka also you can find it.
Oh, okay, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now. Yeah, anyone else? Yes.
Do you know cola nuts?
Yes, which one?
Cola nuts.
Will you please spell it or write in the chat box?
COLANUTS. Cola nuts.
Okay. So Sundus, write it in the chat box. I'm not able to hear it properly.
And fruits also you can get from the forest.
Okay.
Sir, I
Okay.
got
Can
it.
can anyone else tell me what Sundus is saying?
Sir, I didn't hear it
The
properly.
cola nuts.
So what are you saying, Sandus?
Cola
Sundus?
nuts. That
Cola nuts.
you-
Okay.
uh,
Okay. Cola
uh,
nuts you are saying. Ha ha ha.
in local language.
Sir, we
Hmm.
also get fibers, right?
Different type of fibers are also obtained from, for
So we
example,
also get food.
we get
So the thing
cocoon.
I was about to say is saffron.
Saffron, exactly, saffron. Right now, that is also obtained, but it does not grow in the wild forest. It has to be cultivated.
Sir, also
Saffron is a
ginseng.
type of
Sir, and
ginseng.
some essential oils.
Some essential oils, very good, like the palm
So
oil.
ginseng.
Which one's on Chakrika?
So ginseng. It's like mainly
Ginseng.
found in South Korea. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
They
Yes,
use
sir.
it for herbal care also, and to make it in like foods. They add it in
Yes, yes.
foods and all
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Saffron, like you all might have seen. It's like a flower, huh? We obtain
Yes, sir.
it from a flower, right now.
Yes, sir.
You all might have
Yes.
seen like it's a violet color flower. It's having an indigo color flower, and saffron, that is basically red in color, right? So in flower,
It's
remember,
it's in
sometime I
like
might have
yellow also, right, sir? It's
yellow.
also
It's
like
actually
turmeric color.
it's having a turmeric color also, but basically you get to see now. See, let me draw it over here. It's like this. See, most part of it is red in color, while the bottom would be a little bit yellowish color like this. Okay, so you guys know, like in a flower, there are different parts. So there's a stigma, this style, there's ovary, right now. So basically, in the flower, you would see that basically the stigma and the style that makes up this. The stigma and the styles, they are collected from the saffron flower, and they are dried for few days, and thereby then it is sold in the market. Okay, now, right now. Okay, so if there's any question, please to let me know. Yes.
No, sir.
Okay, by the way, which country is the largest producer of saffron in the world? It's the same
Sir,
country from
think-
where it originated.
Sir, I think it's India.
No, it's Iran actually. It's Iran.
So what was the question?
Oh,
Which country produces maximum saffron? Answer was Iran. So Iran is producing 90% of the saffron for the world, right now. And you would be surprised to know that for just 1 kilogram of saffron, it will be sold for somewhere around $5,000. That's the price of just 1 kilogram, and it could be higher than that also, but the minimum price is that, right? So we can see that by weight, it has been the costliest spice in the world, and it's the same country, Iran, from where it originated, right? Earlier, actually, the sea navigation, when it was not developed that much, so people from other parts of the world were not aware of this right now. So when navigation developed, when sea voyages started to took place, so thereby people started to trade the saffron from Iran to different parts of the world, right?
The
Also,